Archive File 07B. Recovered transmissions. Pacific Sector. Year 1954. At 0217 hours, the Japanese research sub Kaiju detected a low-frequency rumble beneath the Mariana Trench. The signal lasted exactly 39 seconds and registered stronger than any recorded earthquake. Then the seismographs flatlined. Moments later, the Kaiju vanished. Only one fragment of audio remained, a roar so deep it shook the recording needles from their mounts. Scientists called it feedback. The Navy called it classified. But to those who heard it live, it sounded like something alive, ancient, furious, and rising. For decades, the recording was dismissed, buried in archives labeled marine anomalies. Yet patterns kept returning. In 1977, a hydrophone near New Zealand captured the same frequency. In 1997, NOAA's microphones heard it again, the infamous bloop. The public was told it was ice breaking, but inside the files, the sound profile was classified as biological, unknown origin. If it was alive, its lungs would fill stadiums, its heartbeat would rattle ships, and so began the quiet hunt for the creature that shouldn't exist. In the early 2000s, a team exploring the South Pacific Ridge found a bone embedded in basalt, too young for dinosaurs, yet too ancient for modern life. Carbon dating failed, the mineralization was complete. The bone matched no known species, but the shape resembled a spinal plate, thick, arched, armored. One researcher wrote in her notes, "Resembles fictional depictions of Godzilla's dorsal spines." She was told to remove the line before publication. The sample was sent to a government facility for further analysis. It was never returned. If a species like Godzilla existed, where could it hide? Only one place fits: the abyssal trenches. Down there, sunlight dies after a few hundred meters. Temperatures hover near freezing. Pressure crushes metal like paper, yet life flourishes. Gigantic squid, bioluminescent sharks, jellyfish as wide as rooms. Evolution favors survivors. A marine reptile from the Cretaceous could descend generation by generation, adapting to the dark. Its lungs would compress, its bones hollow yet dense, its metabolism slow, efficient, cold. Over millions of years, it would change, spines thickening into natural armor, muscles evolving for crushing currents, eyes shrinking, but nerves expanding to sense vibration. A creature built not for speed, but for endurance. A shadow that could sleep a century and wake hungry. Extrapolating from known marine biology, a specimen 400 feet long is not impossible in the ocean's buoyancy. Its rib structure would need to distribute weight like a bridge. Heart pressure would require multiple chambers, perhaps a series of pumping nodes throughout its torso. Heat regulation would depend on bionuclear metabolism, a process some deep-sea microbes already use, extracting energy from uranium-rich sediments. Scale that up, and you get a creature that glows from within, its spines pulsing with thermal light. Fiction calls that atomic breath. Science might call it radiothermic venting, a way to cool a biological reactor. Across cultures, tales speak of leviathans, the Yonjin region, keeper of the sea, the Norse Jormungandr, the world serpent, the biblical leviathan swallowing ships whole. Ancient maps mark the Pacific with dragons. Perhaps those were warnings, not decorations. Legends may begin as memories: a fisherman's shadow on a moonless night, a village destroyed by a wave without a storm. The human mind translates terror into myth, but myth often records something real. Declassified naval logs speak of anomalies too large for sonar to map. One report from 1989 describes a U.S. sub tracking an object roughly the mass of 3 blue whales, descending at 40 knots. It stopped at 6 miles deep and vanished. Later that year, Fishermen off the Philippines found their nets ripped apart, steel cables snapped clean through. They heard nothing, saw nothing, only felt the sea heave as if something massive had passed beneath. Could it be coincidence? Perhaps, but patterns form, and patterns demand explanation. In 2012, a multi-nation expedition sent drones into the Challenger Deep, the lowest point on Earth. 2 hours into the mission, all feeds went black. When the systems rebooted, the drones were gone. Only one frame remained, a blur of something vast and scaled, reflecting its own light. The official statement blamed pressure failure. Unofficial whispers called it visual contact. Oceanographers estimate we've mapped less than 20% of the seafloor. Every year, we discover new species at depths once thought lifeless. If a creature evolved to avoid surface sound and light, it could exist undetected. Its echo would blend with seismic noise. Its movements would look like tectonic shifts. We measure the planet by reflections of sound. But what if something down there learned to bend sound around itself? That is the final entry in File 07B. Subject possesses active camouflage in sonar spectrum. To exist through mass extinction, a creature needs adaptation beyond anything we know. It must hibernate through ice ages, feed on radiation or chemosynthetic bacteria, withstand millennia of darkness. Perhaps it feeds rarely, surfacing once every century to hunt whales or surface fauna. Then it returns to the trenches, curling its massive form around geothermal vents, absorbing heat like sleeping stone. That would explain why legends appear cyclically, every few generations when something stirs the deep. In 2019, satellite radar caught a circular disturbance in the Pacific 5 miles across. No volcanic activity, no meteor strike, just displaced water, as if something rose and then sank again. The data was wiped from public servers within hours. One technician saved a copy. His last message read, "It looked like an eye." Could a prehistoric species truly survive to modern times? Mathematically, the odds are tiny. Biologically, possible. And culturally, inevitable because humans keep remembering something they've never seen. Maybe that's the proof. Memory older than writing, passed through fear and story, echoing a truth our species was never meant to forget. If Godzilla was real, it wouldn't be a monster from a movie. It would be Earth's first apex engine, a biological force born of radiation, pressure, and time. A creature so ancient, it became the ocean itself. Final entry, File 07B. Timestamp, 0342 hours. Audio recovered from a lost hydrophone array, dated 3 months ago. A pulse matching the 1954 signal was recorded again, stronger, closer to the surface. Coordinates place it 200 miles off the coast of Japan. The frequency pattern was identical, except for one difference. This time, it answered back. If the idea of an ancient predator still haunting our oceans makes you wonder what else might be hidden beneath, subscribe for the next file, where we open the case of Titanoboa and its possible evolution in modern jungles. Because some secrets of evolution were never meant to sleep forever.